Hello and welcome to a time special presentation for Thirukkural with the Times, where we explore real world lessons from the classic Tamil text Thirukkural with motivational speaker, author, and diversity champion Bharathi Baskar as she explores the masterpiece. When power speaks, even money steps back. When power governs the moral compass, equality ceases to exist. The powerless, wearied by humiliation, stop dreaming of fairness and begin yearning for power instead. Thus begins a new hierarchy, not of virtue but of might. What was the world that Thiruvalluvar had envisioned in this regard?
Thagudhi Enavonru Nanre, Pagudhiyaal, Paarpattu, Ozhugap, Perin. To treat all, enemies, strangers and friends, with equal fairness is the highest virtue that sustains a just society. Thiruvalluvar envisioned a world where justice was a balance beam, not a weapon, where ruler, ruled, and even the voiceless stood on equal ground. But what happens when that beam tilts? When power begins to decide what is right? The following quote, often misattributed to the film Godfather, has always stayed with me. When you hold a gun and I hold a gun, we can talk about law. When you hold a knife and I hold a knife, we can talk about rules. If we both are empty-handed, we can talk about a reason. But if you have a gun and I only have a knife, then the truth lies in your hands. The concepts of law and rules hold meaning only when they rest on equality. It's a chilling reflection that law has meaning only when force stands equal. Fiction or not, it mirrors reality uncomfortably well. Recently, a political party's convoy allegedly hit a man driving his scooter, and when he questioned, he was hit. In another case that drew significant public attention, the wealthy accused in a fatal BMW car crash in Delhi was reportedly taken to a distant hospital where her father was a director instead of a nearby one. Power dislikes being questioned. In a society divided between the powerful and the powerless, rules stop being rules. They become tools for the strong and chains for the weak. When power governs the moral compass, equality ceases to exist. The powerless, wearied by humiliation, stop dreaming of fairness and begin yearning for power instead. Thus begins a new hierarchy, not of virtue, but of might. I was reminded of this fragile balance a few years ago during a visit to London. Our team was invited for lunch by a wealthy business magnate who later offered to drop us at the Heathrow airport. When we stepped outside, a gleaming black Rolls-Royce stood waiting for us, my first ride in one. At Heathrow, where vehicles are allowed to halt barely for a minute, our chauffeur parked calmly, helped us unload, and even offered to walk us inside. I asked half in disbelief, "Won't the police fine you for waiting here?" He smiled politely and said nothing. I realized how deeply power infiltrates even the most rule-bound societies. When money speaks, rules go silent. When power speaks, even money steps back. And then my mind turned to a story from Perin, one that shows how justice once meant in our land. In the 12th century classic, among the 63 Nayanmars stands Manunidi Choran, a Chora king whose very name became a byword for righteousness. One day, the king's son was driving his chariot when a calf darted across and was crushed under its wheels. The grieving mother cow went to the palace and rang the Araichi Mani, or the bell of inquiry, the king had installed to hear the cries of those wronged. It was the first time that bell had ever been rung. The minister examined the case and cleverly shifted the blame, declaring that the calf was at fault for straying into the chariot's path. But the king, the guardian of justice, refused such convenience. If a mother is grieving in my land, he said, then justice demands that I share her pain. He ordered that his own son be given the same fate as the calf. The prince was executed, and legend says divine grace restored both the calf and the prince back to life. A dream society indeed, where the voiceless and the mighty were treated as equals, where justice did not wear the color of the crown. Today, such stories read like distant echoes. We have laws, courts, and constitutions, yet the truth still bends before status, wealth, or influence. Thiruvalluvar's call for impartiality remains not merely a virtue, but a test of civilization itself.